everybody. This is episode 13 of Frameloss. We are your weekly 1-hour video game talk show. We're here live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. EST till 9 p.m. I'm your host, 2 Inches. With me, as always, is CJ. I keep fucking that up. It's that way. You're on that side.
So I'm on that side.
Yeah.
I'm over here.
Yeah, so it's been quite a week. The Steam sale started. How do you feel about the Steam sale right now?
I feel good about, I'd say half the days. Half the days I've been really into, and half the days are terrible. Today's been a terrible day overall, thanks to Kerbal Space Program existing.
I hate that game for probably no reason at all.
No. That is the only game in the history of games where it's like, oh, I'm going to get more expensive the longer I exist.
I mean, that's all early.
I guess Minecraft
games,
also. But, no, that's not all. Some games are just reasonable.
Most games, early access, are cheaper.
I'm going to stay in alpha for 4 years and get way more expensive.
Besides your hatred for Kerbal Space Program, which is unwarranted, what have you bought during the Steam sale? Like anything?
Oh my god, I bought so much. It's almost offensive how many things I've purchased. I've spent about, I'm not even going to say how much money I spent, so I don't feel comfortable saying that, but I have gotten probably about 20 to 25 games.
Wow,
I would say.
I've been super frugal this sale. There hasn't been I guess, okay, the problem comes around when you have a ton of games, and then the Steam sale comes around, and everything that's on sale you already own. So, the sale to me is really meh at best.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing I don't have that's not on sale. I did, however, get Shadow Warrior last night, which was on sale. And
nice.
So far, that's been the, I don't know if I would go as far as game of the year for me, but maybe surprise of the year. Of how much fun that game is.
I picked up Shadowrun, which I need to play. Witcher 2, I think, is my big pickup from the sale.
I thought you already had that.
No. What else? Planet Explorers, which I'm really disappointed with. It's just Minecraft, but MMO style.
Huh. Yeah.
You know what the best game I picked up was? Instead of being negative, I'll talk about the best game. Was Euro Truck Sim 2.
Oh yeah, I got that too because it was $3.
That game is awesome. I also bought Farming Sim, kind of fun. I'm sure I'll like it more the more I play it. But I've been so into Euro Truck Sim 2 that I haven't had a chance to play anything else.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what you've been playing. You've been playing a lot of Euro Truck Sim.
Euro Truck Sim.
Now that I think about it.
I did Real Mist last night for a little bit.
Yeah, I can't go back to that game. It's too.
I did
it when I was 12, maybe younger.
Yeah, I've never beaten Mist. Is the thing. I've started it multiple times. It's disgusting. I have all 4 copies of it. I've Mist, Real Mist, Mist Masterpiece Edition, and now Real Mist Masterpiece Edition. And Real Mist Masterpiece Edition is the first one that I can run. And run effectively on my computer and not have it crash or be crappy.
Yeah.
So,
let's jump into game releases that came out yesterday, since today is Wednesday. Completely forgot about this title because of the Steam sale and just being distracted with just checking every 8 hours. RBI Baseball came out yesterday. I have to buy that immediately after the show, and I'm going to probably be playing that all night.
Yeah, that game looks really good. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, so RBI Baseball for PS4 and Xbox One came out yesterday. Also, Transformers Rise of the Dark came out for, I think, every platform on the planet. I think that's correct.
Last time I checked, funny thing about Transformers Rise of the Dark I wanted to mention, it's the same generic Transformers game everywhere, except for on the 3DS, I think, where it's a tactical RPG.
What?
Yeah, it's something wacky.
I'll have to look out for that.
It looks really good. I think I might pick it up.
As far on my radar as Shrek 2, when Shrek games come, that's where that game sits for me.
It was a little thing I saw forever ago that was talking about Like for some reason,
Yeah.
they were just making it totally different, and it looked like a lot of fun.
Valiant Hearts, that E3 tearjerker with the World War II. What was it, 2 or 1? I think it was 2.
Valiant Hearts is 2, I believe.
Yeah, where it just made you full of sads and feels.
Yep.
For PS3 and PS4 only, that came out yesterday. X Blaze Code Embryo came out for PS3 and Vita. It's a like just super anime like what's the word? Visual novel game. It's been getting good reviews, so might be something you want to check out if you're into visual novel kind of games. I couldn't find any gameplay that wasn't like
No,
two
you.
characters talking.
Yeah, that's the downside to it is that there's just
Yeah,
no like gameplay
I was
footage.
trying to find something, but I couldn't. There was like an hour-long video someone posted of the demo where it was literally just an hour's worth of just talking. So, I don't know. There might be a game in there somewhere. And
Uh,
then Blue Estate came out for the PS4 yesterday, which we will show a trailer of during the next segment and talk about it more when we get to that. So maybe we should just jump right into that.
yeah, let's do it.
There wasn't a lot that came out this week. I think everyone's in that summertime slump and dealing with the Steam sale. Maybe developers plan for that now.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea to plan around that. I mean, if you put that lull of like June and December right into your calendars, because you know people are going to go hard at Steam sales, or June and January rather.
Yeah. So, okay, we're going to jump right into trailers of the week. We got 2 trailers for you. The first one I just said is Blue Estate. We're going to move that first because we're talking about it now. So, this is Blue Estate for the PS4.
Peggy 16.
All right. Bring me cherry pops, or this Desert Eagle's gonna say it louder. That's what I like.
You know what floor the ambush is on?
This one, going down.
Password is 22. No. Sorry, girls. I'm not looking.
Come to Tony Luciano.
Line on up.
I'm awesome. Well, hello. Oh, come here. I want to give you something. Ah, Christ. It never stops.
What the hell is this place? I hope you're ready, because it's time.
Model.
Forgot to turn my mic back on. So, that is Blue Estate coming to the PS4. It's an on-rails shooter based off a comic book series. CJ, you being the comic book expert on the show, have you heard of this comic?
I have. I did not know that they were making a video game out of it.
Does this interest you at all?
Yeah, the comic's a really good comic, and that game looked like it was a lot of fun. I am a big fan of on-rail shooters. The only thing I don't like about them pretty much is that they require like their own controller. But
this one seems to be using the DualShock, it says.
I don't know if it uses the DualShock or if you can get away with what's it called? The Motion Plus. Yeah, the Move. There we go.
I don't think so.
I feel like a DualShock's gonna be really weird. I saw it said that, but I feel like that's just super weird. But I mean, if that's true, I mean, my favorite on-rail shooter of all time. I wouldn't say favorite of all time, but top 5 on-rail shooters. Pokemon Snap used a controller, so
yeah. I think it looks awesome. Some of our listeners watch me play Rambo, so they know I'll pretty much play any on-rail shooter. So I'm looking actually forward to it.
I didn't know
about
it. We still
it.
call them listeners, no matter what. We can't get out of it.
I didn't know about it until today. Like, this game, I had no idea that it was a thing. So I thought the trailer was cool. It's kind of edgy. It's super cheesy. I'm super into cheesy games, as I said before with Shadow Warrior. ultra cheesy.
Yeah, it just
So-
looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks like a fun title. I don't know how much it costs. I'll definitely have to look into that. But let's go to our next trailer, which is Divinity Original Sin. So that was Divinity Original Sin. Biohazard in the chat said, "Yay, another Diablo clone." And I just want to point out, of all the Diablo clones on the market, this is the one you should care about.
Yeah, that game looks fantastic.
When Diablo 1, like, and Lords of Destruction was, like, getting stale, and, like, the game was, like, just, oh, I've done this a million times, like, how many times can I farm the cow level? Divine Divinity came out, and that game blew me away. That game was so good. You've just been recently, like, learning about the Divinity series, so, like, you've never played one.
Yeah, I have no idea anything about Divinity, really. I just found out that I have a Divinity game in my Steam library.
Welcome to
actually,
Steam.
That I'll probably go and check out after the show, given how great that trailer looked. But that comes out in 5 days. I don't see myself skipping that game. That looks so good.
And this is the one that not too long ago you were knocking because it's in Steam. You can buy it right now in Steam with early access, and you were like, oh, it's already got DLC in the early access?
Okay, I mean, they probably shouldn't be early access if they have DLC. That's ridiculous. I will stick by that.
Okay. The thing with the trailer that, like, it shows a lot of really cool stuff, but, like, obviously since it's just a quick trailer, they're not going to delve into it. The character creation in this game is off the chain. And the world creator that they briefly show at the end looks amazing.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to buy this game, more or less. I'm sure the single player campaign and everything will be awesome. It looked like it would be a lot of fun, but having come from Neverwinter Nights and Neverwinter Nights 2, the amount of games that can be created by a community when you offer up toolkits like that, it's unbelievable. You get so much more out of it for almost nothing provided by the devs in terms of additional content. They just offer up the SDK they used, and they're like, go nuts.
Yep, I'm really excited for this game. I might be picking it up on launch.
Yeah, I am going to wait for it to go on sale for, like, I'm going to wait for the Steam sale. It might go on sale again, but if it doesn't, then I'm just going to buy it.
Yeah.
I wish that I had seen that trailer when it was on sale. I'm never going to not knock an early access game for coming off as milking it, but the fact that they launch in 5 days kind of makes me a little less leery about it.
Yeah, I don't know when they announced that DLC stuff, so maybe that was super recent. Who knows?
I'll take having DLC that you can actually buy over having DLC that isn't implemented in the game yet that you can buy, which is what one of the games in Steam has right now.
Okay. So let's go to news of the week. Those were the only trailers that I really thought were like interesting this week. We have, it's very short news, but it is breaking news. The Diablo patch 2.1 that we talked about last week is now available to play on the public test realm. So if you have a PTR account and you want to check out all the new Diablo stuff, that is live right now. You can go play it. So don't do that until the show ends.
Yeah, it's live at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
Is what 2 Inches said.
Yeah.
Now, do you need a Reaper of Souls account to play on the PTR with those things, or can you test them without that?
That I don't know.
Okay.
Not 100% on that. I would assume you do,
Okay.
but I'm not sure. So, PS Plus, they announced their new... PS Plus announced their new games for next month. PS4 is getting Towerfall Ascension and Strider, which... Yeah, your thumbs down. Strider looks hot. Towerfall Ascension, I've seen nothing but good press about that game. You're the only person who's walked away from that going like, bored.
First of all, I'm not into purely PvP type stuff, which is what that looked like. Even if you are playing against bots and stuff, it's still one-on-one combat.
Yeah.
Second of all, I understand PS4 is a new system. There's not a lot of games to give out for PS Plus. I get it. I don't think that excludes them from being criticized, however. Those games are two cheap games.
But what do they have? What else do they have to give away?
Yeah, I told you. They have Infamous.
They're not. That game is still selling like straight. Like they're not going to give Infamous away if that's still a console seller.
Yeah, I mean that's their choice. I just said they don't get like exempted from being criticized just because they have a weak library.
Well, it's not really a weak library. It's just the system's brand new.
Yeah, there's two sides of the same coin.
Okay.
I'm saying that the PS3 PS Plus system has proved time and again to be way worth it.
If because the PS Plus system has tons of games, like this piece of trash, Dead Space 3, which no one's buying right now. So obviously they can just be like, oh yeah, here, take it.
Yeah, but if you have to compare it to that, you're gonna come out looking weak. If you only have
I don't think so. I would take Towerfall Ascension over Dead Space 3 any day.
That puts you in the minority. A ton of people love Dead Space 3.
I know. That was my biggest disappointment when it came out.
I just think that they have such a strong showing on PS3 every month, and then PS4 just looks like the turdiest little turd.
I think you're being too hard on them for a system that's not even a year old yet, with no games.
Then maybe they shouldn't be giving out 2 games a month for PS4.
I mean, I'd rather have 2 games than no games.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I'm not saying just stop giving out PS4 games. I'm just saying they're going to be weak. They're going to be weak for a year, maybe another year after that. But it's cool that they give out the free games. They could have just limited it to PS3 for another year to buff up their library. But I'm still going to call weak games when I see them, and that is a weak selection.
I disagree because I think I will play the shit out of Strider. I'll probably play Strider more than when I bought Dead Space for $60.
I like the PS Vita selection. That's what I'm
pumped about
most
the PS Vita selection. So PS3 is Dead Space 3, like I said. Like, just who cares? And Vessel, not a bad selection. PS Vita has Murumasa and Doki Doki Universe. Murumasa was one of the single best games for the Wii. I was extremely excited when it came to PSP, and I will definitely be getting that after the show ends.
Doki Doki
not
Universe.
after the show ends. That's next month.
Yeah. Doki Doki Universe looks like a lot of fun. I checked it out today on my break. It just looks like a fun little game. And that's exactly the kind of game that if you're going to give me a small indie title, that's what I want. Is something I can download, enjoy, not feel bad about, a game that I might not have purchased, like, on my own, but will enjoy anyway.
Yeah. IGN announced that the Wave Blue controller for the PS4 comes out this fall. I'll probably buy that because I like colored controllers. What IGN the reason I put this in the news was IGN also brought up that the white controller that was announced this fall has yet to been announced for single sale and can still only be got in the Destiny bundle, which is untrue. And I would just like to say that IGN, if you need people to correct your articles, Frameloss is always there to help.
I do have a communications degree.
Yep.
So I am overqualified for the position.
Yes. The white controller is also available right now. You can pre-order it by itself, and you can also get the headset as well. And I think it has a release date. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. But they are available, so IGN, we're here for you.
When is the red one coming out? Because they announced that one
They
too,
have
right?
not announced the red one.
Sorry, they haven't announced it for
The US.
US, but
Right.
it does exist. So
Yeah,
like,
it does exist. It's not.
why wouldn't they?
I don't know. The way they do controllers is weird.
Yeah, I don't. Are the controllers region locked? That seems like
No.
something Sony would do.
No.
That seems like their MO.
Not really. They're not really into region locking things.
Well, okay, I guess I shouldn't say region locking, but just making them hyper difficult to move from region to region.
Oh no, Sony doesn't care what you plug into their system.
They just don't want you having it.
Well, they just haven't released it in the US yet. There were a bunch. It took forever for the white controller for PS3 to get over here.
Yeah, I just release your stuff. That's my thing. Just put it on the internet and let everyone buy it. I don't understand region like exclusive things.
I mean, they did it with it's not just a Sony thing. Like Nintendo.
No, I know it's an everyone thing.
Nintendo had all the cool colored Wii's that like America couldn't get.
Yeah, it was BS.
Yeah. You want to take the next one?
Yeah,
There's Saints Row.
I'm all excited about it. Saints Row 4 National Treasure Edition, which is essentially the Saints Row 4 Game of the Year edition for a game that did not get nominated for Game of the Year by anyone. It comes with it's the original Saints Row 4 game as well as all 29 DLC items. It's $30. Comes out on the PS3, the Xbox 360, and the PC. It's going to ship digital and physical. Comes out on July 8th. So if you are a Saints Row fan that liked the game enough to play Saints Row 3 again, but didn't like the game enough to buy the DLC when it came out, this is right up your alley.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't buy Saints Row 4, $30 isn't bad for 29 things of DLC. Although a lot of the DLC I was looking at was just like costumes.
It's so crap. Yeah. I like the gameplay in Saints Row, and I hate the DLC. It's always the worst. Compared to, I lost the game. Never mind. I was going to compare it to a game, and I forgot what game it was. So that's why I should write things down.
So next up, we got the worst mod 0.8 available for Watch Dogs.
Such a weird name.
This was the mod we talked about last week where you can make the game look like it did at E3. Now it's available for the public to download. The build, they say, is not even remotely final, and you should probably wait till 1.0 comes out. But they're putting it out there so you can download it. I'm going to post the link in the chat for anyone who wants it to where you can find the mod. This makes your Watch Dogs just look super pretty.
You blew it.
Yeah. What do you think about the mod?
I think it's a really weird name for a mod, but it makes the game look gorgeous.
I also deleted the link, so I don't have it anymore.
I got it. I'll get it. Oh, no, you totally deleted it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Let me talk about it while I find it. I think it makes the game look unbelievable. I don't understand, like, how this got not included in the game. That was a really uneloquent way of saying it, but I don't understand why they toned down the game so much.
Yeah.
Here's the link in the chat for everyone who wants it.
Did you hear about the Division 2?
No.
Where they said they had to start scaling down like crazy?
Oh, here we go with this now.
Yeah, I'm not excited. Like, I'm almost to the point where I will not buy another Ubisoft title.
So, is there, like, solution to this? It's like, well, we'll just tell them when we do that, and then they won't be mad.
I don't
Because
know.
we'll have told them the truth.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
I'm not pumped about it. The Division was, like, one of my top games I was looking forward to.
I'll say this much. Pretty graphics will not fix Watch Dogs. That game is boring whether or not you have it looking gorgeous.
It was lacking a lot of content, and the online was not fleshed out properly.
Out of all my problems with the game, unrealized graphical potential is pretty low on the list.
Yeah, that's pretty low.
Titanfall, speaking of things that are getting released. Titanfall update number 4 is coming out to all the platforms, PS4 or not PS4, Xbox One and PC. Tons of new things and bug fixes, including matchmaking, where teams get rearranged right before the level loads to balance everyone's teams out, so you don't get those one-sided matchups that pretty much just ruin every competitive game.
Yeah, I think they're trying to just like speed it up so like people aren't like, oh, I don't want to be on that guy's team and then drop.
Yep, it makes it really hard to find a good game sometimes.
Yeah.
They're gonna have insignias for your Titans to make them just like all crazy fun looking and cool. They're gonna update the menu art, which is always cool to get when a game doesn't update. It's always cool to get updated graphics and stuff.
Yeah, like I thought about not adding that to like the notes, but I was just like, I like it when games like change like their UI.
It just makes it feel
like a
like
new,
an
it
update.
makes it feel like an up. Yeah.
Yeah. There's one more thing I wanted to talk about. There's 2 new modes was the other thing. There's like a VIP mode.
Oh, I didn't.
Which
even
is it's marked for death is what it calls. Where it's basically like one person gets marked for death and everyone has to hunt him, kill him.
That'll bring me back to the game. That right there alone will bring me back to the game.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. I'm trying to see if I can really quickly pull up what the other one is. Last Titan Standing is the other mode. So it'll be like a deathmatch where you don't come back.
Oh, okay.
Two new game modes.
I think they already had Last Pilot Standing, so this is just Last Titan Standing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm all for updates.
I think adding game modes like this, especially for free,
yeah,
that's
the other thing too. This is a free update.
It's the best way to extend the life of titles like this.
Yep.
It's easy to do. It's simple. It shows people that you care about the community. It's the best decision you can make for a competitive game like this.
Yeah.
So kudos to Microsoft, the developers. I can't remember I don't remember who developed it. Was it Bungie?
No, that's not Bungie. That's Respawn.
Respawn. Okay.
Yeah, the Call of Duty, the original Infinity Ward.
Okay, so big props to them for putting in the effort for a free update like this that has so much stuff. It's Titanfall fans are gonna love it.
Yep. Another update is Resogun for the PS4. So Resogun Heroes came out yesterday for $5 for the game. But on top of that, there's a free update coming that has some really nice things in it. Included in that free update is the ship editor, which is a voxel-based, like, fully customizable ships. It reminds me a lot of the character builder from 3D Dot Heroes, where you literally just take block by block and you build your character in this, like, square, like, void.
That voxel like creation is new hotness right now. Everyone's taking advantage of it, and it's not in a bad way at all. But yeah, 3D Dot Game Heroes is a really, really good example of a voxel-based building game. It's kind of like building a gummy ship in Kingdom Hearts. Yeah. That style of just plug and play in terms of items.
So expect a lot of penis-shaped ships in Resogun when you're playing coming soon.
What's that EverQuest Next, right?
Yeah.
That's using all, and it's the cool thing about the voxel stuff is that it's not inherently like squares. You don't need squares. That's all voxel based, so it's all super destroyable, and it's just voxels are a really cool idea. Whoever came up with them, and it's good to see that they are like every game is using them more or less at this point in some fashion. It seems.
Yeah. They're also adding the Hall of Fame for people who achieve the greatest of greatest scores. They will be forever showcased in the Hall of Fame. And I was like watching clips of some of these runs, and these people are insane. Like, I'm good at the game, but I'm not here yet.
Well, once you get there, you'll be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes. And they're also adding local co-op, which is pretty big because it doesn't have it right now, so you can only play against people, or only play with people who are on the network.
I don't understand games.
A lot of games don't have local co-op.
Like, is it harder to implement? Like, I really don't get it. It's not me knocking anything. I don't understand it.
I don't know. People want you to be social online and not in your house.
I guess. It's weird. It's a weird choice. Anyway, moving on. New World of Warcraft Warlords of Draenor zone was revealed this week. It's called the Tanan, I don't know how to say it, jungle. It's dangerous wilderness. Players are it's the first steps in the new expansion will be in the Tanan.
Yeah, it's the starting
jungle.
zone for...
First time you land in Draenor, or you say it, is going to be there.
Yep.
So it's, all the key players, Grommash and Kargath and Kilrog, are going to show up. I'm really excited for Draenor. I mean, as always, I'm a WoW fan. I'm not super duper WoW. I have suspended my subscription at this point. They can only do the same content so much, but I am super excited for this expansion.
I'm the same. I'll be back when the expansion comes, but right now I'm sitting on the sidelines.
The thing I'm most excited for is the fact that I pre-ordered it, so I don't have to worry about buying it when it comes out.
I put up a picture of the only image they leaked of what the zone looks like. Just looks like a jungle with some orc stuff.
Yeah, what you thinking about? Orc stuff? Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty...
Yeah, I mean, they say, like, Hellscream and Deadeye and Blade Fist will all be there. They said don't expect them to be happy to see you, but they'll be there.
No one's ever happy to see me in World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
It's just once I want to show up and everyone will be like, hey, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Glad you're here.
Except for that hunter that I just forgot his name.
Oh, man.
Neffing?
Hemet Nezingwary.
Yeah, Nezingwary.
Oh, man, do I love his quests.
Yeah.
I could talk for an entire episode of
His quest to
Frameloss.
just murder everything in the area a lot.
The quest line where you in ice expansion zone where you cross up with the PETA Druid team is by far one of the most fun quests I've ever done in any game.
Yeah.
It's just so ridiculous, so silly, tons of fun. Again, I could talk a whole episode about how much I love the Hemet Nezingwary quests.
Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about, this is less news and more like something I just wanted to discuss. Polygon put out an article on Battlefield Hardline, which I will put in the chat. This time I did it correctly. So they put up an article saying, like, this is why, like, you shouldn't buy Battlefield Hardline. And the whole piece is basically, like, explaining to you, like, the history of DICE and the history of Battlefield and saying, like, why, like they don't represent what they used to represent as a company anymore. And Battlefield Hardline is just another example of them just, like, not giving fans what they want and just all around, like, I guess not caring. There's okay, so I grabbed this like little excerpt from the article. I read the whole thing. I thought it was a really like good article. It brought up some really good points. So we don't ever want to change our maps, or we don't ever want to charge for our maps, and insisted to EA that this attitude was crucial when it came to keeping our community happy and playing together. That was from DICE senior producer Patrick Bach, that he told Xbox 360 magazine back in 2010. We're owned by EA, but we're still very much DICE. Then the article points out that Battlefield 4 now has 5 paid map add-ons already out for the game. And he basically like takes EA quotes, points out like where they're wrong. There's also 19 pay-for content for Battlefield 4 for the PlayStation. It's basically just a like
including like things that are just like, well, don't play the game. Like just buy this and like everything's unlocked.
Yeah, another quote from DICE is EA would never force us to release a game every year. I think that would dilute the vision of the franchise, and you'll eventually kill the franchise by doing that.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, they have a
nailed
game
it.
every year, and
Battlefield 4 almost killed the franchise.
I don't think Battlefield's been Battlefield since Battlefield 1943, and that's even stretching because that was just like a little, like, even though I played the shit out of that game and I love that game to death, that was just a small little title for like the like Xbox Live and PlayStation Store. I think it was a little $15 game, very much like Battlefield 1942.
Those two games, 1942 and 1943, and I would even say, was it Vietnam?
Yeah.
Right. Those games were awesome. I didn't really play Modern Combat or 2142. They looked cool, but I just didn't get a chance to really dig into them. But 1942 and 1943 Vietnam were unbelievably good games as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
The amount of things you could do, the amount of maps, everything about them was great. And I don't even like first-person shooters that much, but just the amount of things you could do and roles you could take on was unparalleled when those games came out.
He also points out like that you can buy like you're paying for DLC that you don't even know what it is when you buy the season pass. Like you're just buying map packs that could be anything. Like you know they're going to be there, but you don't know what they are. You don't know if you like want them or if they're going to be good maps.
Yep,
you're just blindly.
You're saying I know
DLC.
I want maps for this eventually.
I don't think it's fair to call out Battlefield for that because every game and its mother has season passes now, which I do not support the season pass thing. I think it's a awful practice. I understand it. I just hate it.
I'm trying to remember the first game that had like a season. I think it was Call of Duty.
I think it might have been Call of Duty.
One of the Modern Warfare games was the first one with like a map pass. Maybe
it might have been 3. 2 didn't have one. I know that.
It could have been Halo. Might have been one of the Halo games, maybe.
No.
I'm not.
Halo had
100%.
a disc you could buy for Xbox One that had all the maps, like multiplayer maps, I believe. But I wouldn't call that a season pass because that came out way later.
I just checked it out real quick. This says that it was first seen in 2001 with LA Noir's Rockstar Pass.
2001? That doesn't make sense.
No, I'm sorry, 2011.
Okay.
But I really feel like it was...
Actually, that might be correct. That might be the first.
So, I mean, there's that answer. And then around the same time, Mortal Kombat also had a season pass for downloadable fighters.
Yeah. So, like, if you're interested in Battlefield at all, like, check out the article. It's a really good read. I was already on the, like, I'm not getting this game. Even though, like, I talked about how much fun I had in the beta, I am not purchasing this game at launch. I feel like Battlefield 4 is in such disarray still that I don't feel like they should be releasing another game with that game still doing as poorly as it is, even though this is a different studio. I also feel like $60 for a multiplayer-only title, such as this one, like, with no track record, like, with your other studio having a very bad track record at the moment, is a little much. I know they're adding a single player to it. I haven't seen anything on it, and I don't believe that it's nothing more than just, like, the maps with, like, bots in them. But, I mean,
Yeah.
even if they prove me wrong, this isn't a game I play the single player for. I didn't play the single player for Battlefield 3. I didn't play the single player for, what was Bad Company, the second one.
I agree with Biohazard who said BF3 is better than BF4. Just quick note. BF3 was... I almost got back into first-person shooters because of BF3.
I mean, I haven't really liked a Battlefield game since, like I said, 1943. Bad Company was fun, but it just felt more Call of Duty. Battlefield 3 felt really Call of Duty, just with large maps. It just feels like a different game. But yeah, so I'm not gonna be buying this in the fall, as I previously said on an earlier episode that I was definitely buying it. I've retracted that because I've actually really thought about it, and there's other shooters coming out that I will play way more than this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'll play that Call of Duty shooter a million times more than I'm gonna play.
I'd play that Rainbow Six game over this game, and that, like, I hate Tom Clancy.
Yeah, I don't support them coming out with a new game when they still need to work on BF4. Like, it's still not even where it should be, in my opinion.
And we're coming up to a year.
Yeah, and they're already
like,
telling us about Hardline.
2 to 3 months, we're at a year.
And I mean, I played Hardline just like you. To me, it was like, it's a cool concept.
Oh, I had a blast with Hardline.
$60 is just, it's almost offensive.
Yeah. Like I said, here's the thing: if it didn't have a single player, and they were talking about how much work they were putting into because they have to, it's the only part of the game. Maybe maybe I'd be on the fence more about it, but I don't like when games that are like this is a multiplayer focused game. You're not telling me that this game is coming out with a single player that like you're gonna have a memorable campaign experience. Like, that's not happening. You're getting a tacked on single player because they won't get a good review if they don't have a stupid single player in the game. And then you're going to get a decent but could be way better multiplayer if they just spent the dev time not doing the single player.
I know we've had discussions about the concept of including a multiplayer and a single player mode at all times. And I mean, whether or not it's the right business model to do, what it comes down to is people don't want to sell games for $30 that have half the stuff. They'd rather tack on a mode, however developed it may be, and sell it for $60. So
I'm not gonna say I know how long it takes to make the single player in these games, but it's just like, if we spend like another like couple months in dev and then can charge double for what it is, why not? It's those couple months you could be like really tooling that multiplayer experience, which I feel a lot of games don't do.
It just feels cheap. That's it.
Yeah.
Regardless of how good or bad it is, it always feels like stuff is missing because of it. So, one other piece of news that we didn't go over, but just
I have another piece of news after you.
I wonder, it might be the same piece of news. Never know.
Okay.
Patrice Bergeron is the winner of the NHL 15 cover vote. And since Frameloss is based out of Boston, Massachusetts, and is very proud of
When did we do that?
its Massachusetts heritage, it's great to see Boston getting the win in this. It's better than the Stanley Cup, really, if you think about it.
No.
Boston strong.
Yeah, I mean, he did win. I mean, I can't say he didn't.
Not in my game, and you print out your own.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I'll do that. That was not my news. My news was that the DayZ creator Dean Hall tweeted today that vehicle production, I don't know why I said production. Vehicle development has begun in full force, and even though I haven't played that game in a couple months, that just completely fangirled out. I want vehicles in that game.
Well, he'll be working on them all the way up until the end of the year when he leaves and stops working on them.
Yeah, I'm fine with that if there's vehicles.
No, there won't be. He's just going to work on them.
Okay.
So we have a little bit of time before...
Yeah.
About 15 minutes before the end of the show, which means we can go into... for those of you who didn't watch, I played UFC this Friday. Played it hard. I didn't give in, and I made it almost all the way through the campaign mode. I played it all night, from 7 p.m. until 2 a.m. on Friday. It was a blast, in my opinion. I liked it more than I liked quick note is that I liked it more than I liked the UFC Undisputed games, which I really like. It just felt more fluid. Being on a next-gen system definitely helped.
I watched you play a little bit of it. It looked visually, it looks... Actually, I do have a video for it. It looks amazing. You can talk while the video plays, so...
1 second. Okay. Yeah, so it just felt good. Overall, I'll go through the review points that we have. Story, they give you as much of a story as they can for a UFC game. You're a new fighter. You go on the Ultimate Fighter. You have to win your elimination fights in the bracket to make it into the UFC. You then have a bunch of fights to climb the ladder. Then you win a title. In between every fight, you get 2 or 3 videos from like famous people, Dana White, Mike Dolce, some famous fighters. Chuck Liddell, BJ Penn records some. Tons. There's tons of fighters who record like quick little videos for you that just to, if you're going to go fight for a title, they're like, hey, I heard you fighting for a title. Hey, I heard you got knocked out of the night. Stuff like that. It's cool ways to immerse you. It's cheap ways to immerse you, but it works. Other than that, though, there's not really a ton of story. I will be generous and give the story a 5 out of 10. 5 knockouts out of 10, I guess. There wasn't much there, but they did at least try. They made it enjoyable to play through the career mode.
Did you play the last Fight Night?
The boxing game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think I did.
Because I know, like, my girlfriend raves about how fun the story was in that game.
The story in that game was a lot of fun. It was not like this.
This wasn't on par?
Okay.
She was asking me about that.
If I'm thinking of the last Fight Night, like, it actually had a story mode.
Yeah.
This was not. This was like a career.
Okay.
So, it's it's not like personalized or anything. The last Fight Night was really good. This is not near that. Gameplay. If you've played Undisputed at all, it keeps the same general style of controls and stuff, which is not a bad thing because there's been 3 of those already. It's kind of hard to break people away into a new control scheme. So overall, it's a pretty difficult game, which is good. It feels reasonably balanced in terms of you can't just go start knocking people out right away as a new UFC fighter. If you play as some of the bigger guys and you're going against little dudes, you will mess them up really fast. It's a very well-balanced game. It controls smoothly. I would say the only gameplay issues I really had were some of the moves were a little wonky to do. They have these Showtime moves.
Kick.
Yeah, spin kick is insane. They have these new moves called Showtime moves, which are these like crazy. You jump off the cage and do things. If anyone watched like the last fight I did on Friday, I pretty much just spammed the guy I was fighting with Superman punches from leaping off the cage because it was just I finally figured out how to do it, and it was too much fun to do anything but that. But it was a little hard to trigger it at times. So, as far as knocks go, that's not a very big knock. Blocking is difficult to. You can block just by holding a button, or you can like parry blows and stuff. But it is really, really difficult to see, like how, like if you're gonna get punched in the head, you have to know which side to parry from, and you have to know that they're gonna punch your head, not your body. So it's a difficult thing to do for very little strategical advantage. Submissions. That's the big change. They changed the submission system. It's really, really easy for me now to make people tap out. I don't know if I like that or not. I haven't really decided.
Could you have upped the difficulty to make it harder, or
the only thing upping the difficulty will do in the submission mode is increase the speed at which the things will fill up that allow them to escape. That doesn't make it harder, in my opinion. That just means you have to do it more times to get them to tap out. It was just once you had the motions down to do it, it's a pretty simple system. In UFC Undisputed 3, it was a little harder to do just because it was based more on the stat in the way that they implemented it. So I think that while I enjoyed this system more, I think the other one was more, I don't even know the word, less easy to, like there were fights where I was like, okay, I'm definitely not going to knock this guy out, so I'm just going to go for a submission, and fight would start, I'd make him tap out. Because it's just once you have the system down, you can do it. But so overall, I'll give the gameplay 7 Kimura locks out of 10. Definitely a lot of fun. Few problems here and there, but overall really good. Sound was great. It, they have Michael Buffer doing the announcing. They got rid of Joe Rogan and Mike Goldberg. I think that's his name, Goldberg, Greenberg, one of those two, doing the announcing. So what you hear when you're fighting is you actually hear your corner and their corner calling out things
that's kind
to
of
do.
cool.
Yeah, and it's really helpful. The things they call out are like actually useful. There were times where I was playing and my corner would be like, watch his hook, and I'd block it and get a free shot in. Or they'd say like, oh, like go for a jab, and that would open him up to get him knocked out. And it was surprising to hear things like that were actually useful and not just background noise.
That's cool.
Other than that, I'm pretty sure there was a soundtrack. I spent so much time in the fights and not in the menus that I can barely remember. And I spent a lot of time in the menus talking also. But it all sounded good. It's hard to do sound in a game like this where beyond the little touches they added, there's not much to talk about. So I'll give it a 6. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I was gonna say 5 because I don't even remember music, but if you play a game for 8 hours,
it sounded like all the
blurs.
impacts and stuff were really nice.
Yeah, there was just like all the effects and stuff were just it was good. It's hard to say like, oh, that sounds just like real life, having never like been to a fight or anything, but it all sounded good. Okay. So yeah, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Graphics were like just unbelievable, gorgeous graphics. It's I know I don't have any that we have the one in the living room, but I haven't had like a ton of time playing the next gen system, so playing next gen games is still like really exciting for me graphically. That said, these graphics were fantastic. All the fighters looked real. All the like bruises and cuts and like swelling and stuff during the fight was really dynamic and good. You could see these little like nuances of like blood trickling down the face as you were fighting, or you would punch them and you would see like blood go flying.
Did you have the last one before this?
Yes.
Would you say it is a vast like next gen
huge
comparison?
Improvement? Yep.
Okay,
absolutely.
That's good.
I can't. It was like a new game in terms of graphics. It was like they probably did build it from the ground up, but that's also what it looked like. So. The ring was the octagon rather was the octagon. The crowds looked good. There were times when they'd do the fighter introductions, and I would be like, yeah, if I had walked into this, I wouldn't know if this were a real fight or.
Yeah, when I played the video earlier, I was like, this looks really real. Yeah,
so it becomes more obvious that it's a game as the fight starts, but just the level of graphics. If a game can fool me like that, I'm really impressed.
Yeah.
So I'll say that the graphics, I want to say 9, but I'm not. I'm going to go 8 on the graphics. Just due to if they didn't have
it's your next gen like
if they didn't have videos of real people in the game, I would give it a 9. But the fact that after every fight they showed you 2 or 3 videos of real people being like, "Hey, what's up?" This and that. It was sort of this stark. Yeah, it was just this stark contrast to like, okay, that's what a real person looks like. So I'm not there.
That's fair.
I think if they didn't do that, it would have been really beneficial, and I would have given.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. Like it just pulls you out for a bit.
Yeah. Fun. The game was super fun. If you like UFC,
you streamed that thing for like 8 hours.
Oh man, dude! The only reason I went to bed was because it was like I wanted to stay up. If I wasn't being like just semi-responsible and trying to maintain any sort of a sleep pattern, I probably would have done it all night. But it was so much fun. I love wrestling games. I love UFC games. It's funny because I don't like fighting games that much, but I love those. So
we gotta change.
I don't know. Maybe I like fake games. Maybe that's what, like if it's fake fighting, I like it. But it was so much fun. Knocking someone out felt really gratifying. Making someone tap was really just winning the fight in general is, it's a good feeling. It's like, yeah, F you tapped out, you got knocked out. on the converse side of it, there were fights where one specific fight I went up against someone who was like a knockout specialist, and I was like, okay, I have to stay away from him and get him to tap out, or I'm going to be screwed. And I started to get him into a submission, and he got out of it, stood up, punched me in the face, and I was done. It was under a minute of fighting, and I was really disappointed, but that was a good thing to me, because it was like, wow, it felt automatic, but it also felt like if I care enough to be like legitimately offended by this game, then I'm probably having a good time with it. And it was. There's also, I didn't get too deep into them, but there's also modes where you can like recreate fights, like historical fights, stuff like that. So it's a really deep game. There's a ton of fighters. The online looked like a lot of fun. The career mode was definitely a ton of fun. Stuff like famously, like essentially, if you've played the NFL or NHL games, the like moments modes where you get to, it was the equivalent of that.
Okay.
That was a ton of fun. So if they can like support that while the game's up, if they keep putting things in there, that'll only make it better. I think that there was a ton of, especially if you're a UFC fan also, a ton of good, high-quality content to make this game worth playing multiple times. I was disappointed when we had to send it back to GameStop. It was a ton. Just, I give it a 9 out of 10. It was about as much fun as I've had with a game in a long time.
Nice. Would you say someone who isn't like into UFC really that much, like just they know what it is, they don't hate it, like is it something that they should rent? Like,
yeah, I mean, I think I would still try it out. It's
okay.
Even if you don't know a ton about UFC, a ton about mixed martial arts, it's still a game that when it boils down to it, you're punching each other in the face, trying to knock someone out. And there's the concept of, we all can't do it in real life, nor should we attempt to do it in real life. But the idea of just like beating someone and just knocking them out cold is a lot of fun. To just boom, you're out, I win. It's a fun thing to emulate. It feels good. I will say probably my only complaint, my only real complaint that I ran into was in UFC Undisputed 3, you could like knock people's mouth guards out and send people careening. Like you would kick them in the face and they would fall down like a solid like 2 or 3 feet away, and their mouth guard would go even further. This game, they get knocked out and they just drop, or they'll fall right down, which is way more realistic, but way less
satisfying.
Yeah, way less cool to be like, oh. So
okay.
It still felt good though. So it's not like that ruined the game or anything. It was just it was one thing that I noticed that was a huge difference. There was like an achievement for knocking someone's mouth guard like feet away in Undisputed. So
so what was your overall?
Overall, I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10.
That's not bad for an UFC game.
Yeah, I think it was just tons of fun. The fact that there's a minimal story and the fact that sound just doesn't play that big of a role in it is, detrimental to the score, but not detrimental to the game.
Yeah.
It doesn't make the game less fun. You make your own stories when you're playing games like this anyway. When I lost my first match, I was like 9-0 at that point, and I lost, and I was so disappointed in myself. And that to me is way more interesting than being scripted into like an undefeated thing and losing. So these kind of games, I mean, that's like, there's no story in sports games in general, so it's nice to see it get that sports game treatment.
Yeah.
So yeah, 7.5 overall. If you like UFC, definitely buy it. If you are kind of interested in UFC, Redbox it, get it, rent it somehow. If there's like a Blockbuster,
buy it, use it at GameStop, and then return it.
Yep, I always support that.
I do want to point out this is another game we can add to our list of games that stop you from streaming. During those,
all the videos.
The PlayStation brings up a message that says like this section not being broadcasted. Your broadcast will resume when it's over. I'm sure it works the same on the Xbox One. It's just a new thing developers are doing. So if you're a streamer, it's something to keep in mind, because it will stop you and all your viewers will just see a blue screen with dancing little icons on it. So yeah, like not a bad review. I wish I had gotten a chance to play it, but the World Cup was going on and I was very busy with that.
Yeah, you gotta make sacrifices. I didn't get to watch the World Cup as much as I wanted to. You didn't get to play UFC as much as you wanted to.
Yep.
It's a hard life for a gamer
It
sometimes.
is. So that'll do it. That's another one in the bank. Frameloss episode 13. Thank you all for watching. Follow us at the things down at the bottom. We do this live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. EST.
That's 5 p.m. Pacific.
5 p.m. Pacific. I don't have anything special planned for next week. We're probably going to talk a lot about the end of the Steam sale. Probably go over more about what we bought. Thank you guys for watching. We are out. See you next time.
See you guys. Thanks for watching. Good game.